What's up YouTube? Capital G here, looking at a brand new rocket effect monster that just got revealed coming out of the structured deck Revolver. Looks like Konami is aiming to give rockets more disruptive utility effects. This is Silverokket Dragon. It's a Dark Dragon level 4 monster. 1900 attack and 100 defense. Okay, it's got a very impressive stat line. If nothing else, this card should always be a reliable beat stick at all stages of the game for the most part. You've got two effects on this card. They're both hard once per turns, but of course you can use them both in the same turn. Effect number 1, when a linked monster's effect is activated targeting this card on the field, quick effect, you can destroy this card, then look at your opponent's extra deck and banish one of those cards. Effect number 2, which you expect to be built into basically every rocket monster at this point. During the end phase of the turn in which this card on the field was destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one rocket monster from your deck except another copy of Silverokket Dragon. Okay, you know what this card really reminds me of? I'm not sure how this is going to resonate with a lot of people, but this card reminds me very much of Gladiator Beast Ratiari. So if you guys don't know, Glad Beast Ratiari was a card that came out, I believe, in Crossroads of Chaos. It was a little after the Glad formats, and it was a card that had a decent utility effect. It could be pretty useful. Basically, it was a DD Crow, but it felt like it just never did quite enough, especially when Glad Beasts were starting to have to deal with like Teledads and an established tier 0 Teledad. This card feels very reminiscent of that. You look at the effect to banish a card from your opponent's extra deck, and yes, I can give you examples of where that can actually be insanely good. It could potentially be a blowout, especially, let's just talk about against limited cards from the extra deck. Very popular ones like Heavy Metaphors Electromites or Sky Striker Ace Kagari. You banish those cards from the extra deck, chances are your opponent's not using those cards for the rest of the entire duel. Hell, you could even go for plays where your opponent might play a card that is incredibly powerful and prominent in the meta, but only plays one copy. Some of those cards would be like Salamangreat, Mirage Stallion. Most Salamangreat players are only playing one copy of that. Guard Dragon LP, kind of the same thing. You take away your opponent's ability to use those cards, and they're probably not going to get to their full combo, but those decks generally want to summon those cards turn 1 every single turn, so taking those cards away can be very impactful. But I can also see many situations where you're playing against like an Orcus deck, and all of their important link monsters, let's be real, were really just the extra deck monsters in general. Things like Nightmare Mermaid, the Galatea, Dengirsu, they play multiple copies of those cards. Same thing goes for Sky Strikers. You take out that Kagari, now your opponent just falls back to Shizuku grind, and obviously Sky Strikers are well adept at grinding. I personally feel like this card's effect should have mirrored something like Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries, where you're going after one card in their extra deck, but you can banish as many copies as possible. Then I feel like you would have just been able to just go for the head, get rid of your opponent's most important card. Think about dueling against Sky Strikers, Salamangreats, or Orcus, and you can just take out the Galatea completely, take out the Sunlight Wolf completely, take out Shizuku completely. You damage your opponent so much. Their combos become so mediocre, and the ceilings of their deck are drastically reduced to the point where Rockets can keep up. Rockets have legitimately a win condition now, and it would have been an effect that you probably only needed to resolve one time in a duel. I think you resolve this effect and you hope for the best, but I think if Konami would have buffed it a little bit, I think that it would have legitimately been a win condition. So this card had the right idea, it just wasn't quite as powerful, and I feel like Rockets still don't have their legit win condition. You're either still playing, a bunch of Guard Dragon shenanigans and hoping that gets you there, or you're hoping to just summon a bunch of Boral monsters and use disruptive effects like the Fiendish Chain and the Pop effect, but we know that just hasn't been successful, and I don't know why this one effect would change that when your opponent still is going to have a lot of plays even if you take out one monster, in my opinion, unless that one monster is just limited and integral to their play or their combo or something like that. Anyways, let me know what you guys think of Silverokket Dragon. Leave it in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already and turn on that notification bell for daily videos.